Here, back for another update. Let's take a look at XRP over here, and we're going to take a look at many different types of analysis, and I'm going to show you XRP through several different lenses just so you guys can get a better understanding of where exactly we are in the market, and just so you're not blindsided, right? Because a lot of analysts, they only have one method of looking at the markets, or maybe a couple, but sometimes they may end up blindsided. So that's why I feel like it's a good idea to analyze the asset through many different perspectives. So over here, when we take a look at XRP on the daily time frame, we see that we have a 5-way. So we're not going to count this, and the reason we're not going to count this is because this looks like a, let me show you here. Okay, so this is the creation of your coin. You have your pump up. All the founders exit at the extension and then bring it back down to demand zone before driving it back up one more time for your wave 1. Come down for a WXY correction, and then you have your explosive wave 3 to the upside, hitting your golden pocket. And because we went up so high over here, we had such a long and drawn out bear market lasting over 2,000 days. So when we zoom in here, we have a 3-wave move down, a 3-wave move up, and a 5-wave move to the downside with your wave 5 of C hitting your 70.2% fib, which marks the March 2020 bear market lows, or at least the lows of 2020. We then, but the correction is not done, because remember, whenever you have a 5-wave move to the upside, you're going to have a move down, right? That's expected. Then you're going to have a counter trend which either sweeps this high or fails to breach it. Then you have a C wave which breaches the bottom of your A wave or just terminates above it. And then we have your continuation to take out liquidity resting above your last high. So this is what we had here. We had an A B, and then a C wave down. And this is an ABC in the form of a flat pattern. So you have a 3-wave move down, a 3-wave move up, and within this B wave, you had a 5-wave move up for your A wave in a leading diagonal. Okay, this was your leading diagonal. Come down for a flash crash hitting your B wave down to the 78.6% fib, and then you have another explosive 5-wave move up hitting your 2.618 right there at $1.94. For your last leg in the bear market, we have a 5-wave move to the downside with a truncation in the 5th wave. Now you see how the 5th wave goes sideways, and the reason for that is because we had such a capitulation style wave 3. You had such an explosive wave 3 to the downside that sellers were exhausted over here, and then we went into a Wyckoff accumulation schematic. So what we have over here on the bigger picture is a 3-3-5 Elliott wave flat pattern. This over here, the correction is done. Okay, we came down to the 786. Okay, I took a fib from this low over here up to this high, and you could see we bottomed out here at the 702.786. Then we had a 5-wave move up similar to that of 2020. Okay, and then a flash crash below the bottom of your wedge hitting the 78.6% fib. So it's exactly like 2020, but instead in this scenario, it's impulsive rather than being corrective. Okay, so we have our wave 1, and then we have a WXY for our wave 2, and then we're going to start our wave 3, 4, and then a explosive 5th wave extension. Now, once wave 3 and 4 complete, I'll have more accurate wave 5 targets. Right now, I'm just showing you the trajectory of where I think this may go. If you guys want to stay, and I won't be updating, I'll try my best to update on YouTube, but if you guys want to stay updated on the latest XRP analysis, and if you want analysis on your favorite coins, then you can join the Discord over here. You get access to a bunch of these charts over here. Okay. And you can ask me any question you want. See all these people asking questions. Okay. Yeah, so click the link in the description below in the YouTube video to join the Discord. So this is the long-term view of XRP. Now you can see that the correction is done on the macro perspective, on the macro time frame. Let's go ahead and zoom in on just this structure over here, just this bottoming structure. So let me take this off here, and I'll show you the Wyckoff schematic that has been playing out for over 630 days. Okay, so this is a lot of accumulation at the bottom. This is a lot of pent-up energy. When this thing gets going, when it breaks above this trend line right here, I don't think there's going to be stopping it. It's going to be the price action is going to be much like 2017. It's going to be very parabolic once we break out above this trend line, and this is acting as our trendline liquidity. Okay, so there's a lot of buy stops located above this trend line. When you have your preliminary supply, so it's one upswing before going into a capitulation, which ends up being your selling climax. Once you reach your selling climax, it doesn't take much money to move the price back up, because you have a lot of people selling their bags here, and all the smart money is buying up all that fear. You have your selling climax, and then you have your automatic rally, your secondary test of the lows, and then a failed breakout to the top of the range. This move over here is when whales, or the composite operator, is able to buy up that fear for the second time when we sweep this psychological low over here. You see how this over here is a psychological low? Retail would be thinking, oh, okay, let me place my stops here, or if XRP goes below this low, I'm selling all my bags, right? You have to think like a market maker, think like the composite operator, and try to figure out where the retail are putting their stops. So as soon as you break below this psychological low over here, this acts as your secondary test in phase B. So if we look at this diagram that I have here, you see how after your secondary test, you move up to the top of the range one more time above your automatic rally, and then you come down below your second test. You see that? You see how you sweep this psychological low ever so slightly, or maybe just do a little double bottom, and then you have a short squeeze. So this is exactly what we see here with XRP. Once you swept this psychological low, you came up to the top of the range for your second failed breakout. So this over here was your, let me show you here. This over here was your first failed breakout. Come down below this psychological support for your secondary test in phase B. Come up one more time for your failed breakout number 2, and then come down to the mid-range and chop around here. This over here is where all of the retail get confused, and they end up selling their bags because they think it's a dead coin, it's not going to move, and then all of a sudden you move into your sign of strength phase. So after your sign of strength phase, this is right before Ripple won the lawsuit. Sorry, this is right when Ripple won the lawsuit against the SEC. After your sign of strength phase, chopping around to the side over here. Okay, you see how we chopped down to, you see how we were chopping over here? This is your last point of support. You have your sign of strength, and then you move into a backup phase at the top of the range, and maybe you may come down just to mid-range over here. So this is exactly what we see. We actually came down to the 78.6% fib. Okay, you see how we perfectly hit that 786? Now we're entering into phase E. Once you enter into phase E, you target liquidity resting above the last all-time high. Okay, and this is exactly what we're doing. The macro trend is shifting. Okay. The macro trend is shifting. Now let's take a look at the moving averages over here. Let's take a look at the 21 week SMA, and we're still holding above the 21 week, and the 100 day as well. Let's take a look here. Okay, we're also holding above the 30 week. The 21 day and the 50 day SMA. Okay, so we're holding above all of these moving averages over here before we start our, wait, let me just delete this over here. So we're above all of the moving averages here. We're in a Wyckoff accumulation schematic before we start our next impulse to the upside. Okay, now I think it's going to take out this high over here. Right, it's going to take out this high, go to around $2.30, $2.60. There's going to be a resistance along the way from $1.10 to $1.70. So there's going to be $1.10, $1.30, $1.70. Go above this high, sweep this buy side liquidity, and then you're going to come down and creak down to the side over here. Now this creaking phase that we have here in wave 4 is going to throw a lot of people off guard, and they're going to think that the run is finished. And then we're going to come up for a very explosive and extended wave 5 hitting which would be very likely to be hitting double digits here. Okay, so remember that once wave 3 and 4 finish, we'll get more accurate wave 5 targets, and I'll be updating that in the Discord. Okay, so I'm gonna so I showed you the high time frame. I showed you the Wyckoff accumulation schematic that we have here. Okay, but I haven't shown you the very small time frame. So let's go ahead and zoom in over here, and this is the small time frame wave count going back since January. Okay, so you have a 5-wave move to the upside with your 5th wave hitting your 1.236, which is a common target for a leading diagonal. You then come down to the 78.6% fib. Right over here, you have a 3-wave move down, a 3-wave move up, and another 3-wave move down, creating a WXY correction. And now this is the start. This is the start of our next impulsive structure to the upside. So this over here is our wave 1, and we had a flash crash to the 70.2% fib, and it's likely we're just going to be chopping around in here before we have more continuation to the upside. Let's zoom in even more so we can get a better understanding of where we are. This is the small time frame wave count here. Okay, so you see how we had 5 waves up here, and your 5th wave hit the 1.382 or 1.618 when you use your linear fibs. You see how it hit it right on the dot? And then for this 5th wave, the reason the waves are overlapping here is because this is an ending diagonal. Okay, you had your wave 1, 2, 3, flash crash for your wave 4, and then you had your wave 5, which was just zigzagging. Okay, and then now we're having a ABC correction, but it is of my opinion that this over here is your selling climax. And as soon as we go below this equilibrium here, at 59 cents, there's going to be a lot of new shorts opening up, especially below 58 cents. If we do go below that level, there's going to be a lot of new shorts opening up, which I think will cause a short squeeze. Okay, so bulls want to get over this 786, 886 zone to invalidate this wave count and to invalidate a little bit more downside before we head up. Okay, they want to get over this zone right over here. Otherwise, we'll come down for a C wave to finish up our wave 2 correction, our sub wave 2 correction of our macro wave 5. So let me see over here. So this is the wave count on the small time frame. So we had a 5 wave move up to the 1.618 or the 70.2% fib. Okay, you see how we came to the 702? And now we're just having an ABC correction here. Now remember, bulls want to get over this to deny the possibility of us having a little correction over here going into next week. Now remember, weekends have less liquidity, so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see a little bit of a retrace. Now when we look at this from a different perspective, let's take a look at the Wyckoff accumulation scenario on the small time frame. Let's go down to the 15-minute time frame. So what you have over here is your selling climax. You see how we perfectly, for our flash crash, we wicked all the way down to the 70.2% fib. And as most of you know, XRP is attracted to the 702 like a magnet. But we also mustn't forget the 786 here. So this will come up in a few minutes. I'm just going to show you exactly what XRP is doing here. You had your selling climax or your flash crash down to the 702. You had a bunch of people panicking here, panic selling their bags, and the composite operator buys all that fear up. After your selling climax, you're going to have an automatic rally. Then you have a secondary test, and then you have what's called a failed break. And this failed break hit the 78.6% fib from this high over here down to this low. Okay, so it hit the 786. Now what we see over here is a sweep, a break of structures. So we have bearish bias on the small time frame, a sweep of structural liquidity, and it's likely will be gravitated towards the levels resting below your equilibrium. So anything below 50% would be considered discount territory. So if you like XRP and you want to increase your spot bag, look to do so at equilibrium and anything below equilibrium into discount zone. Okay, so I think that going into next week, there is a possibility that XRP comes down here, right, into discount territory, takes out your 702.618 on the linear scale, and then the composite operator drives the price back up again to take out this high. Now remember, this may not happen. This may get invalidated, and that'll be good. That'll be good for XRP holders either way, right? Because then we can invalidate this count over here. But I feel like a lot of new shorts will be opening up as soon as we go into equilibrium and below, which will eventually cause a short squeeze. As soon as you go below this 50% over here, people are going to think this low is going to get swept. But in my opinion, I think this is just a selling climax, and it's unlikely that we go below this low. But it is a possibility, right? So that's why I place this 786 here as well. So if we do go down there, it would likely be bought up over here. But through my perspective, I think it would likely have a short squeeze once we get to this zone over here. So that is XRP. And let me see here. Yeah, so that is XRP. Let's go back to the, before I end this video, let's go back to the high time frame. And I just want to show you the wave count just so you guys can get a little refresher of where exactly we are. Turn this on here. Okay. So this is XRP here. Now remember, the targets are subject to change. So if you like this content and you want updates throughout the day, then click the link in the YouTube description below. Thank you so much for watching the video. Peace out and take it easy. See you in the next one.